Hi everyone, we're Team Bumblebee and I'm Brie Giordano.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Carly.
I'm Justin and Paul.
So today we're going to talk about the problems we have with healthcare, the types of research, the cost, the qualitative findings, secondary research, quantitative findings, and then our conclusion. So our two team questions that we came up with was, the first one was, do college students feel ready to start their own healthcare program and why? And then our second main question was, what would make college students care more about healthcare? So moving on to our qualitative research findings, what we did is we took 25 in-depth interviews, and we interviewed 5 people each with 16 total questions. These questions were aimed to determine how much college students knew about healthcare and if they are ready to start their own healthcare program. Then we broke our interview questions down into 3 main topics. The first one was the general knowledge of healthcare. The second was lifestyle, including your parents. And then our third was the problems that arose. So now next, Carly is going to talk about her quantitative research findings.
For the quantitative research findings, each group member surveyed 5 people of different ages, grades, and gender about their general knowledge of healthcare. Our team's questions were based upon Table A1 and Table A6. For this portion of the project, we analyzed these questionnaire answers and conducted frequency tables for each of our individual questions. Table A1 was based around college students' readiness to start their own healthcare program. Based on the frequency tables we conducted, 61% of college students do not feel ready to start their own healthcare program at this time. This means that most people answered this question with a strongly disagree. Next, from Table A1, we concluded that only 17.1% of college students know what types of healthcare programs they are going to seek out when the time arises. Next, 90.3% of college students feel healthcare is important. This will lead... Sorry, we were interrupted. So for the next question, it was, I will stay on my parents' healthcare plan as long as they allow. 72.6% of college students strongly agree with this. As you can see on the graph, around 70 people answered strongly agree out of the 100 that we surveyed, meaning that they will depend on their parents' health care unless forced off of it. Next, we analyzed data from Table A6, which was based upon students' opinion on healthcare overall. This played towards our second question about what would make more college students care about healthcare. Next, Sarah is going to talk about more of Table A6 findings.
So when looking at our questions, we picked out a few that we feel were most important to backing up that college students don't know and don't care right now about their healthcare program. So the first one we looked at was question, I feel healthcare is important, and even though college students don't feel that it is important to them right now, they do feel that it is important in the long run. So 100 people surveyed strongly agreed to that question. Next, we looked at, I have a basic understanding of what my current healthcare plan covers. And as you can see, it was kind of
Across the board pretty evenly.
as you can see, there were mixed answers when answering this question. Most people weren't really sure what their healthcare program covered, but some were probably based on their parents. The next question was, I know when I'll be on my own healthcare plan, and this also was kind of mixed. Most people did answer strongly agree or agree, and some were neutral. Most have also stated that they'll probably get their next healthcare program from their future employer. So the next question we looked at was, if I developed a serious health issue, it would make me care more about my healthcare program. This was mostly strongly disagree, mainly because their parents probably take care of them when they have a serious health issue rather than them taking care of it themselves. The next question was, if I paid for my healthcare, I would care more about it, and this was strongly agree. Most of the time, college students have their parents paying for their healthcare program, so they're not really looking at the price, but when they do have to pay for it, they'll probably care more. Next, Justin will continue the rest of our questions.
The next question we went over would be, if I were to decline a job offer if the healthcare program does not suit my needs. We found about half the people we studied were about in the middle range, so it really just depends if they would take it or not. It's about 50-50. Then we went on to the next question would be, I won't care about my healthcare until I'm on my own plan. And we have another one, as we've seen with similar results in A6 block, that it's been around the middle. We have 28 strongly disagree compared to our 39 that were neutral, and then 22 strongly agree. Wrapping up the questions, we had 40.2% of college students would care more about their health care if it was easier to obtain, and you can see that 66 of our studies found that they agreed if healthcare was easier to obtain. Next question, I would care more about healthcare if my school taught me about healthcare, and we had an overwhelming response that people agreed with it, and if they didn't agree, they were neutral. So we think it would be a good idea for schools to start implementing healthcare programs, or at least the teachings of it in our curriculum. Then we moved into our secondary research. And our group has chosen to do secondary research for our additional qualitative findings. First off, it was found that approximately 37% of the emerging millennials respondents ages 23 to 27 did not participate in health and wellness programs as they felt it would not be relevant to them or did not apply to their situation. The secondary data correlates directly with observations our group made with our primary research when we were conducting interviews. We found that a very interesting article called What Millennials Want When It Comes to Healthcare, and this shined a greater light on what our primary research has concluded. The question is why millennials are like this in the healthcare field. Having been raised in millennials with unlimited access to internet with an array of expectations that go along with access, millennials take a different approach to judging their health. Healthcare providers have to adjust to the largest generation. So to keep on top of the trends, we have viewed that healthcare professionals should adapt to the millennials' technology. And then to wrap it up, again, as a conclusion, our two questions were, do college students feel ready to start their own healthcare program and why? And what would make college students care more about healthcare? We went over our 25 in-depth interview questions, our qualitative findings, the frequency tables, so that was the data graphs that we have created above. And then lastly, we touched a little bit on secondary research. So we hope you guys enjoyed our presentations. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you.